Hey guys, this is Troy from Cape Ann Conversations, and today I've got Lily from Lane's Coven Theater Company. Lily, please say hello to everybody and tell us about your theater company.
Hi, I'm Lily Narbonne. I'm co-artistic director of Lane's Coven Theater Company. We're resident in Gloucester. We're actor driven. We focus on producing Shakespeare and classics, but we reimagine them. And then we also gravitate towards performing them in the outdoors.
So take a giant step back for everybody and tell us about your own personal theater experience and your husband's,
Sure,
who's
okay.
who's a co-member in this as well with
Yeah,
you. And tell us about those first days,
okay.
because this was like a COVID development,
It
correct?
was yeah. So my husband and I are professionally trained actors in classical styles and comedy and Shakespeare. And so we've been in theater for ages, and he's a former professional ballet dancer, actually. But we met in acting school, our MFA in acting in San Francisco. So we were out of that program only 2 years, really, or like a year and a half before we started gravitating towards Gloucester, where my parents are and where a lot of my friends are. And we actually did a show pre-pandemic at the Rogers Street Theater before it kind of moved or folded. And with the McNamara's, our dear friends Michael McNamara and Max McNamara. And so then the fruits of that caused us to, in the shutdown and in the pandemic, vision about what it would be like if we actually just formed an official business theater company. And we were like, we live in Lanes Cove. Here we are hanging out like on our phones a lot, reading a lot. What if we just named it Lanes Cove but added an N? And then it would be like a group. So yeah, we wanted to get back on stage because, our industry was virtually completely devastated. You can't make theater in a vacuum with no other humans breathing with them in space. So we set the seeds to produce an outdoor Shakespeare Taming of the Shrew in summer 2021. So that was the beginning.
That was the first Lane's Coven Theater Company production.
Well, that technically it was the second because the first one was actually a radio play, which we did, do like over Zoom, and it was like a podcast play kind of thing called Savannah. And then with our buddies from grad school. And then actually Rocky Neck Art Colony invited us to do something at the Cultural Center, which was super fun. So that preceded Taming of the Shrew, the Shakespeare, in the summer. That was May 2021. That was pre-Delta, that like strain of COVID that came out.
Yeah.
And it was like improv, and it was very wild, I think, due to all the pent-up anxiety that had been going on. So, but it was really fun, and they were very supportive of that, as, they're the best. So
you guys operate out of Windhover Performing Arts Center.
now,
So,
yes.
the show that's going on in August, like technically we're recording this today, August 20th. Show starts on the 23rd, goes through the 8th. That's where that's going. But you guys have this passion for outdoor theater as well.
Mm-hmm.
Can you explain like what drives that? What's the difference in doing outdoor versus indoor theater?
Yeah. We really always want to do both as actors, but as a theater company, we have a unique like passion that what it is we want to share with the world, or what we can share with the world with our specific skill sets, is this melding of, I notice that people are very open and present and available to receive and really relaxed and in a good mood, and just experiencing a sense of humility, like when they're outdoors. And that is a really healthy place to see theater from, especially classic plays or, period plays. And we like reinvigorate them, we reimagine them. So the thing about outdoors is like when you're doing a play amongst like trees and wind and it's all happening. You don't need a set. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, and that's like also how Shakespeare can be best realized. Excellent costumes, excellent acting, diction, use of language. So therefore, audience uses their imagination amidst the bliss of the greenery and the turkeys walking over here and like the deers walking over there, just to imagine and let their mind wander.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose I'm an environmentalist, so like it connects.
So you also try to, is modernize the wrong word probably? You try to put a spin on what these classics are. You like doing these period pieces, this Shakespeare type work, but you'll bring in your own music, your own flair, your own comedy as well into these. Just talk a little bit more about how you put your twist on the performances you bring to.
Great question. Well, often we infuse with dance, which is fun. And yes, we use either modern existing music or we collaborate with some wonderful local Cape Ann musicians, one notably Scott Moore, and he's also technically our neighbor, which is really cool. And he's a beautiful composer. He's a concertmaster for Cape Ann Symphony and Symphony by the Sea. And like we worked with him for Macbeth, and that was 2022. And, he created such an incredible like connection between like sort of Scandinavian feel mixed with Middle Eastern, mixed with like Appalachian music. And that's a great musical sound for Macbeth because it takes place like in Scotland. Let's see. We also, sorry, I'm like slowing down on this question, Elizabeth, a little bit as I got excited about music. We also, our comedy style is, I mean, we have a lot of, we draw on, we make irreverent references, like current references, depending on if it's a comedic character who talks directly to the audience, or like this play. This is that we're doing right now. The Servant of Two Masters is a Commedia dell'arte play, which all that means is Commedia dell'arte was a style formed in Italy in the Renaissance. And it's like a street theater style. It's meant for like the common man, not like a commission for a queen or something. It's really simple.
You also talk about the common man there. The play can be observed by anyone of all ages, and it's affordable for everyone to really come and see. And I think that's important. I mean, my wife and I will bring our kids to all of these plays. That's like the real draw for us, is bringing them to experience a theater. So we're tasked with taking them to these shows directly ourselves, and it's awesome that you guys put that together. I mean, I'm sure there's comedy both for a kid, but also for the adult.
Get this, like I'm sure my dad won't hate that I say this, but like he always says like, Lil, will you just like explain it a little bit more? Like I don't exactly get the plot or whatever, of a given play, like Midsummer Night's Dream. But like the kids, I would watch them. I was the director of Midsummer Night's Dream this past July. So I get to watch everyone in the back. And the kids are zoned in the entire time. They are like transfixed. And they get everything. It's incredible. And it's common to think that you don't like get Shakespeare. But that's what I mean about like when you're just enjoying your day and you're not worried about understanding every moment. You bring your whole family, you get to bring a picnic. And you can see it over and over too. We like to talk about a deal about if you come once and then you want to come back, we'll comp your tickets to return the next time. But yeah, we care about financial accessibility because we truly believe that theater is for everyone. So I like that you say like it not being part of a school programming, for example. That's actually something we're working on, and we've already started the O'Malley English school 8th grade teachers actually reached out to us already. So we're working on some workshopping we can do around Romeo and Juliet while they're reading it, and potentially even like a final performance of that workshop where we do like a really pared down version of Romeo and Juliet, and they get to like see that during the school day.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, there's really no use like just reading these plays and taking a test on them. You know what I mean? They're truly meant to be seen and enjoyed, and like playing with theater as you're like growing and developing and learning about yourself as a kid is just healthy for public speaking, self-expression.
Yeah, some people just don't learn that way too. Where
Yeah.
it's like I just read Romeo and Juliet. It's like, or we could all go see this,
Right.
or we could be actors in it,
Yeah.
and you may really comprehend it better
Yes.
when you get involved in it.
hmm
That's fun. How many people are in the company right now?
Right now, there are 7 actors. There's 1 director. There's 2 stage managers. These ladies are bosses. And it's quite a young company this summer, actually. We have a pretty much like a pretty cool mentorship vibe, I'd say. And then, yeah, we have a lighting designer who's been coming back with us every year. We've got a guy working on minimal set for us. We have 1 costume designer, Jennifer Greek. She's local. And then me producing. So it's a medium-sized cast. It was a huge cast for Midsummer Night's Dream, but it usually for the summer vacillates between, like 7 and 12.
You know, Macbeth. Like I'd love to be in Macbeth, and I get that you guys just did that, but as an example,
Yeah.
and they wanted to be in an upcoming production, assuming they have the talents to
Yeah.
make it. How would they do that?
Well, we totally hold auditions. Let's see. This past winter was the 2nd year in a row that we held formal auditions. Because back in the pandemic, we couldn't really hold formal auditions because there were a lot of regulations, about like bringing people into space together. And it's not really useful if you can't see someone's face,
Yeah.
So let's see. We usually do them so early, like February, because we really plan that early. So we usually hold them at Magma on Pleasant Street. Excuse me, because I'll say that again. We usually hold the auditions at Magma on Pleasant Street. We're friends with Sarah Slifer, so we use the space there. And you'll see it come up on our website. You basically have to just check the website or the social media around the winter to be like, oh, when's the audition happening? Usually we do like 1 weekday and 1 weekend day, so it gives people availability with work schedules.
That'll
And
probably be around February.
yeah.
So if somebody's checking it out in the new year, like new year, new you, I want to be an actress this year in this upcoming play. We're going to test this out in February.
Mhm.
That's going to be for a play like beginning of summer,
Yeah.
like June,
hmm
July maybe.
hmm It's always sort of relative to shifts, like, oh, maybe we're going to decide that the first play is going to be like late July and then the next play is going to be like October. Who knows? But that would be like changing the all the time in the summer. So it just always depends on what our exact dates are going to be. But we'll put it up on Instagram too. And I usually actually send it to Gail McCarthy in the Gloucester Times. So there might be like a short blurb for those that read the paper. For usually like actors that are like out of Boston, or if you're the union actors, you'll see it like pop up on like the union lists of like castings to go to. So that's how union actors see it, for example. Um, and there's ways, if you do like a Google alert or whatever, you can do an alert that would say like Lane's Coven Theater Company auditions, like playbill.com or something. And
Yeah.
you don't have to have like a special login and reunion to see it from playbill.com.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So we've got an upcoming show coming.
Mhm.
Tell us about the show really quick, and then tell us how people would sign up for it or come see it or view
Yeah.
it or...
The Servant of Two Masters is, oh my God. The Servant of Two Masters, honestly, this is like the gold of, this is like the best. I'm going to sort of start over a little bit here. Because this isn't all live, right? It gets to be edited, or does it not?
This is live.
This is live, baby. It's the best and most OG full-length Commedia dell'arte play that you can get. It's by this guy named Carlo Goldoni, mid-1700s, who super cares about that. He's a Venetian, so it's all Italian. But this is written in the style of Commedia dell'arte, which, again, is that street theater I discussed. And when you watch it live, like me in rehearsal all day these, past 2 weeks, it feels like you're watching a theater cartoon, like a theater version of cartoon. Because you know how when you watch SpongeBob SquarePants or whatever, he's like moving really quick and he's like his feet. Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee. That's like my husband in this play as the lead, the servant. And he takes on work with one boss, Beatrice, who is in disguise as this man, Federico Rasponi. And yeah, she's in disguise as a man because she's trying to reclaim a dowry so she can have money to save her lover. And unbeknownst to her, her lover is also in town and then also employs her servant. Hence, the servant of two masters. Yeah. And then, chaos ensues, especially like to speak to anyone in the service industry. There's this really funny scene called the dinner scene where the servant is trying to literally personally serve both masters. And they're like, I want my soup now. I want my dessert now. No, put the dessert first and then the roast later. And just it's all this slapstick, like, shit, how do I keep two people happy at the same time? I'm their personal servant. So yeah. It's these characters are driven by very simple things. Food comes first.
That's great. So that's going from August 23rd through September 8th.
Mm-hmm. And
that'll be the last show for the theater for this year.
For this big season, yes.
The summer season.
Who knows what might happen on a small scale, like later October, November, December, Sometimes people propose something to us that aligns with our energy and capability. But it usually does take us at least a month to wind down from the season, which is a good thing, because it's a big push all summer. And then we like to rest after to our best ability.
That's fantastic. So people, when they want to find you, it's Lane's Coven, lanescoven.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can buy tickets there to the upcoming show.
Oh, yeah.
If people hear this in time. They'll be able to find announcements about upcoming shows, about upcoming actor, actresses, opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any social media where they can kind of see some of these performances?
Absolutely. We love the social media. I'm pretty active on it. Our handle is at Lane's Coven Theater Co. And the theater is spelled with an ER. But yeah, we follow a bunch of local businesses, so we're pretty active. Sometimes we're shared on the Gloucester Story, which is fun.
That's fantastic. I look forward to coming to the show myself.
Yay!
I'm going to prioritize it. I'm going to go check it out.
Yay.
I look forward to it. And we'll try to share it more with the rest of the chamber and the rest of KPN.
Please.
And we'll have you back to announce future shows.
Thanks.
I look forward to hearing more about the upcoming shows.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks for
Be
being
fun.
here.
Thank you.
Lily, Lane's Coven Theater Company. Thank you.
You're welcome.